So you still colluding against him. Thank you. That's all that came of it. And now the conversation is spurred on about how many black quarterbacks in college seemingly under attack right now. Also, how many black quarterbacks are paired together, elite quarterbacks paired together on a squad to intentionally restrict their movement so that black starting quarterbacks do not number 17 of 32 and become the majority. That's what has taken place from that conversation. And then yesterday, the Falcons played. And that's where JJ McCarthy coming at and Michael Penix Jr. So let's get into, are the Cleveland Browns fans sick and tired of being sick and tired? Let's take a look, shall we? So this is just some comments from a couple of channels went running around to see what I could see, right? And as you can tell, they are sick and tired. But what do they want to do now? They want to put Dylan in. Some want to fire Stefanski. Some want everybody fired. Some want the team sold out to another owner because they believe Haslam is the reason the culture is as toxic and content with losing as it is. See, I can see from over here in Atlanta that Haslam wants to be Jerry Jones. But the problem is you have to win first. But Haslam wants to take the shortcut to get to the star, and that's what they're working on building in Brook Park. So they believe that if they build a shopping entertainment complex similar to what we have, the Battery here in Atlanta, that they don't need to win football games. But I watched Dallas play the Giants. I saw how happy Jerry Jones was that they actually beat the Giants. So for Cleveland fans who are considered loyalists, yes, the chirpings are that they are tired of being sick and tired. Some been waiting since the Bernie Kosar era for success. But Dylan is their answer for many of them. Every now and then, Shedeur, they just want another quarterback. So it seems to me the fans will still show up to the games. It seems that the fans aren't interested in boycotting for Shedeur to be their guy. They just know Flacco's not it. And they're willing to expend the rest of the season with Dylan. Or can we fire Stefanski after we burn through this season? That's where they are. So I just wanted you to see, when we say free Shedeur, that's not what they're thinking. In Cleveland, for the most part, they upset because Stefanski is the bad coach and he still works there. But they're not willing to do anything about it other than ask to put in Dylan or fire Stefanski at the end of the season. For our guy, Shedeur, he just going to have to ride it out in Cleveland until God kick that door open, just like he did in the draft. And I think he going to end up wearing green and white in Philadelphia. Why? Have you not noticed that anybody that's Shedeur embraces Shedeur, something happens? Now, we already know Jalen Hurts embraced Shedeur. We already know that Andrew Berry's twin brother is like senior vice president of some type of decision-making ability in Philly. We already know that stacking of black quarterbacks does two things. It actually starts to kill the career of the QB2 that's black behind the QB1 that's black. And what does it do for the QB1? Pressure. The same pressure they didn't want behind Aaron Rodgers, which is why Aaron Rodgers didn't sign his contract in Pittsburgh, because Shedeur Sanders was potentially advised, Mike Tomlin was advised to take Shedeur Sanders at number 2. He didn't want that pressure behind him, which is why Minnesota went and got Carson Wentz off his couch and made him QB2 behind JJ McCarthy. And speaking of JJ McCarthy, for people that keep asking, is he a bust? Yes. Hell yes. And the crazy part is you can't even hide it anymore. But while JJ McCarthy being propped up and given opportunities to fail, like Daniel Jones had 6 years, it only took Shedeur 6 minutes to show that he was a pro-ready quarterback, first round, first-year starter as projected. And he still didn't get the opportunity. So what's really going on here? Other than in-your-face, blatant racial discrimination. And why? 17 of 32. So while the Cleveland fans are upset and they tired of Stefanski and they want to try Dylan next, They got Shedeur right there, and they don't seem to be on the hot button, ready to go all out and stay home to send a message to the owners. So that's where we are on that. What I noticed, moving on to J.J. McCarthy and Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix, is how those guys never have the conversation attached to their name. Well, let's see if we can fire them by Thanksgiving. They trying to fire Caleb Williams by Thanksgiving, and he just got drafted last year. People happy for Daniel Jones. That's nice, but it's been 6 years. But Justin Fields got to hurry up and be successful right now. Anthony Richardson had his job snatched and given to Daniel Jones, who was over there with J.J. McCarthy. Sam Darnold, who snatched Geno Smith's job, is in last place in his division for $100 million. But nobody trying to fire him. Aaron Rodgers just lost in Pittsburgh. Nobody trying to fire him. The only people whose names get attached with you got to hurry up and do something or get the hell on is Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, and Anthony Richardson. And they all just got drafted within the last 3 years. But we coddling J.J. McCarthy. According to AI, Shedeur Sanders going to be a future MVP in Minnesota. I was like, I wonder how we got there. Because even AI knows that 53% accuracy ain't going to get it. And that's J.J. McCarthy. And Shedeur is 74% accurate. And that's how you get to be an MVP. But see, we got to get from where we are right now with the NFL holding back black quarterbacks. Not just in the NFL, in college. And that's where we get to Coach Prime, Deshaun Foster, and Brent Pre. As long as 17 to 32 is what the NFL is trying to prevent. And it's a whole lot happening in the NFL and in college. To once again stop at 16 and simultaneously begin to reverse the numbers of the black quarterbacks that are already there, which is why you see Anthony Richardson now QB2 behind Daniel Jones after 6 years of failure. It's also why Cam Ward was forced to compete and likely is being repeatedly sacked in Tennessee so they could justify not drafting another black quarterback in the first round. And I'm talking about Tennessee, who didn't want Cam in the first place. But he over there doing everything he could do. The question is, do they appreciate it yet? I watched Michael Penix Jr. yesterday. I also watched number 64 on his line run behind the opponent with Michael Penix Jr. on the ground. And that's his center. I also watched several people in Atlanta can't hold on to the ball. It's a lot happening. It's a lot happening. So remember, there are currently 16 black starting quarterbacks. Whether it happens this season with Shedeur Sanders being number 17, all hell gonna break loose before it happens. And you see, Cincinnati need a quarterback. I looked at Cincinnati depth chart today. They only have a 1 and a 2, and the one has a questionable by his name. So technically, they got one quarterback. So they're gonna go get somebody else. Should it be Shedeur? Of course it should. But it should have been Shedeur to Miami. It should have been Shedeur, hell, to any team, Pittsburgh. It should have been Shedeur to a lot of places. Shedeur to San Francisco, Brock Purdy. Could have been Shedeur to the Rams when Jared Goff was having back issues. But the problem is Shedeur is too good to be a relief QB. But the NFL don't want to let him get past QB3 because they know if he QB2, he going to get the QB1. And that's all disrupting his movement, restricting his movement, which is the very definition of collusion. That's all it's about. And how does this affect his father? Let's talk about it.